Oh, buddy. I'm just going to pretend that some people are on right now. I'm going to say it right at the top, right at the top. So if I get any little nasty comments or whatever, I'm going to say it right at the top. I think that I made a mistake in my branding of this live stream earlier today. And I know on the heels of the excuse me, of the Brown Mark interview that people automatically assumed that I was going to have Larry Graham on the live stream. That was a mistake in my branding. Larry Graham, I'm going to say again, I see two people on here. Let me say again, I made a mistake in the branding. In hindsight, I don't know if I made a mistake in the branding. I think that since I had Brown Mark on last week, I think that people assumed that I somehow had that kind of pull to where I would have Larry Graham on the live stream. I'm not saying that I could not procure or make a live stream with Larry Graham happen because I believe in the power of intention and thoughts are things. So if I could do that, if that was an intention that I had, I believe that I could do that. But so if anybody is confused right off the bat, I want to say that I apologize for that. So again, before I get any hateful comments, I'm kind of in a little bit of a mood today. So if anybody gave me a crap talk comment, I would probably fire back pretty hardcore. Not usually my way on my channel or whatever, but today is the day. I do want to talk about this song. Let me reset the energy. Let me reset my energy. Let's see. What's up, Robert Johnson? What's good? What's shaking? What's shaking? So yeah, tell all your friends if I messed it up for them. I apologize. Larry Graham will not be live. I am going to talk about the song POW. The song POW. I just started revisiting this song just recently. What's good, Smoke? What's good? What's good? So while we've gotten past that, I'm going to talk about the way that I play POW, my interpretation of POW. I've seen this thing done a couple of different ways. I've seen Larry Graham do it a couple of different ways. I don't think I've ever seen Larry Graham play it the same way twice. So, yeah, I'm just going to get into it the way I get into it. And I see all the regular, the usual suspects. I love you guys. You know it. You know it. As always, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. And if you want to leave a super chat down there, that's much appreciated. If you want to leave a tip or anything like that, everything is at Son of a Bass. So I just got back from the store. Let me know what the bass. Let me say what the bass. Let's see what the bass. Let me know what the bass level sounds like to you guys. So it's too loud, a little too loud. Okay. Maybe getting some a little bit of feedback from the mic as well. Okay. So in this tune, and I'm going to ignore the chat just a little bit, so because I'm going to repurpose this video, have it be live. Couple of things. You see, and I'm not knocking anybody, but you see this song on little clips and whatnot. I saw one guy made a video back in 2009 or something like that where he did a play along on the whole song. That is impressive to me. To play this song for like a minute, not as impressive. Bravo, but not as impressive. This song on the record is like 130 BPMs. That's fast. That is fast. And Larry Graham is singing at the same time. So I'm going to talk about the different parts as I understand them, as I interpret them, and then I'll give you some suggestions on how to build up your stamina to be able to play it for a little while. So the first thing we have, classic, hammer on, right? Hammer on, and then muting on the left hand. If you can get that, you have come a long way in the thumping and plucking world, right? So, I'm gonna chat a little bit here. Jeff Berlin gets himself in trouble a lot of times for his talk about metronomes and how he doesn't like metronomes or whatnot. I kind of understand him to a point. And this is what I mean. If you were learning how to drive your car, most of us, like myself, well, some of us, like myself, stole my mom's car, and learned how to drive in the parking lot or something like that. Nobody learns how to drive on the freeway. Very few people learn how to drive on the freeway. So you want to get the James, you are here for POW. We're talking about POW, and I'm sorry if you were also misled by the advertisement that went out today. Larry Graham is not going to be on here. Sorry, that was my mistake. Anyway, when you're first learning a section, don't worry about the microphone. Shit, what is wrong with me today? Too much of this. Don't worry about the metronome in the beginning. That motion right there. 3, 4. 3, 4. So many songs, especially of that era, are going to have that bit of vocabulary in them. Okay? So I've heard some people teach this with an open E, so an open D. I don't know if I've ever seen Larry do that. I don't know if he does that. I've never seen him do it like that, but we're talking about economy of motion. It doesn't make sense to always do that, especially at that tempo. However, if you want to get that same vocabulary and do it that way, you can do it, and you can kind of shed it like that also for variety. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's the next part we want to add. So we want to go. So I just did it there, open D and hammer on to E just for variation. Like I said, I've never seen Larry do it that way. I remember Uriah Duffy put out a video back in the early days of YouTube, and he got so many hate comments. Well, Larry does it this. He does an open D, blah, 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 blah. Well, shit. How many of y'all heard the difference? Exactly. So I like to play it here because it makes more sense. 3, 4. So right there, not only do we're getting that muscle memory happening, but we're also getting the vocabulary that's in a lot of songs. I'm thinking about Love Games, Level 42. Mark King sounds very much like the opening of POW, right? So so here's the next part. It's hard to do it slow and think. So I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna like take just the little bitty pieces of it. 4. 4 1 4 1. And then we're gonna add the pluck from D to E. You want to learn the notes on your bass? When you know D, E, right? D, E, you should never ever forget that those are D and E. Ever, 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 ever. So notice no metronome right now. I'm not even thinking about a metronome. I'm just getting the motion down. Now, I've played this before, so I have it a little bit better, but somebody on this live stream right now may be at the point where they're just simply at. I was so excited the first time I could ever do and get a string to vibrate. Some of you guys have seen the PVT 40 that I have. That's what I learned how to slap on, with action like this high off the bass and all of that stuff. I didn't know nothing about low action or anything like that. I didn't know how to adjust the action. I thought if I turned the screw, I'd break the thing. So so let me look at that and break down that motion. Ghost thump. 1 2 3 4. Then we've got our DE pluck, hammer on. Then we're going to go hammer on back to the D and the E. Now, this is what I do. It's my interpretation of it. I don't sound like Larry Graham. You ain't gonna sound like Larry Graham. But get the thing, you gonna sound like yourself. So I'll do D, and then there's that dead thump, pluck. That doing the double thumb like that is tough when it gets to faster tempos. Okay? But that starts to get into what Brown Mark was talking about before, is it becomes little things that you can't necessarily hear at faster tempos, but more of a thing that you feel, right? It's kind of implied. It's just like when you hear drummers playing and you're like, what is that? So what is it that makes it so funky? And if you hone in, it's all the stuff that happens in between. You understand what I'm saying? It's the in between stuff. So there's a great video with Sheila E. Talking about funk drums. Her and Stuart Copeland. You should look that up. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, man, that interview with Brown Mark was so much fun. So much fun. Don't be surprised if we chat again, because we made a really good connection. It was a lot of fun. I do have a couple of more interviews coming with known players and some unknown players. I'm not going to tell you who the next one is. I do have, but I'm also spotlighting some younger, players who are fresh, new in their careers. Blah blah blah. So be on the lookout. So I am setting. I'm trying to set up a couple of uh, more interviews with some other really dope, well-known bass players. So stay tuned. So where were we? So I'm building muscle memory, yeah? I also feel like things like this become meditative. They become when you're repeating them. It's easy for me to get lost once I have emotion down and I'm not thinking about it. It starts to become second nature. That I can feel my whole body move with the with the in time of what I'm playing, and then I can close my eyes and it just becomes a one thing, and I'm not trying to be flighty or foo-foo with that. I'm saying if it were just that, 3, 4, 3, 4. So I count out. For me, I count out the beat 3 and beat 4, because those I can say. I'm not playing anything right there, but I'm always reminding myself of where time is. Right? It's just you got to know where 1 is. You got to know whatever you have to do to get you back to 1. Right? To feel 1, and that's one of my methods. 1, 4, 4, 4, 1. Right? I'm reminding myself where 1 is. Hopefully you guys are with me on that. So let's add the next part of that. Before I do that, I think Larry does it a little bit differently on the recording and live, but how I've interpreted it and how it's become ingrained in me is when the hammer-on goes to the B, I just do it with thank you, Melrick. Thank you for subscribing. What I do is I hammer on from the A to the B. So you think you drool a little bit? I don't think I've ever done that. So even in this process, I'm starting to build my own vocabulary, my own groove. I'm starting to hear other stuff. So I'm starting to think about and feel things that are outside, just taking the same vocabulary, right? Let's add the next part, the octaves. This is all the shit that they put in funk books. If you've ever bought a funk bass book, any book that has funk in front of it, I'm gonna try to stay not political with what I'm about to say. Somebody gonna get their feelings hurt. Told y'all I was in a mood today. Pete, the stuff that's in this in this tune, in this vocabulary, right? If you go look at any of the popular slap bass books, it's shit that somebody listened to. Now, no shade to them, and no shade to nobody's hustle, but it's what somebody has taken, transcribed, and repackaged, right? And that's just the way things are. But let me stay off of that. Octaves. A, G. This octaves, right? A, G. Okay, so the whole groove. Now look, we've put together the whole groove, right? And that's why I'm going to repurpose this and maybe chop out some of the parts where I was talking, just kind of tangenting a little bit. But we got the groove together. Now we want to work on time and tempo, bringing it up to speed. Because this thing, like I said, is fast on the recording. Before we do that, the B section. Larry Graham is a genius. Hell yeah. I mean, can you imagine? I can't play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and sing at the same time. Just octaves, man. The only thing is coming to that E octave, playing the E octave with the middle finger, so you can hit F with the first finger and then slide up. Donovan Clark, what's up? Welcome. So on my phone, I use an app called Tempo. When I use metronome to practice and I'm using my phone, I use an app called Tempo. The reason I like Tempo, very simple interface, and I can set it to increase fleece. That's something, you know, Louis Johnson and Larry Graham both made careers off of a very specific thing. And I'm not saying that in any way to knock them. I think it's a beautiful example of finding a lane and sticking to it. You know what I mean? What's up, Stephen Bird? Excuse me. You ain't never seen Larry Graham at no jazz jams or nothing like that. You're not going to. I don't know if he can or can't, but that's not his bag. Larry Graham got his bag, and he's damn good at it. You know who else is like that? Sade is like that. Sade is like that. You know, the only Sade album, somebody gonna get mad. Why somebody get mad? The only album that I think Sade came out with, that lightweight suck, to me, suck might be a bad word, but the album when she came, it was like Soldier of Love or something like that on it, because it was so outside of her lane. You know what I mean? But you listen to Sade shit from like the 80s, it sounds just as good today. All that Stu Matthew, man, Sweetback, all that shit. I'm cussing a lot today. Sorry, y'all. All that stuff sounds as good today as it did back then. Sade was in her lane. She wasn't trying to do all kinds of stuff. she did Sade better than anybody else did. That's the way I think about Larry Graham and Louis Johnson and stuff. I think they were the best, among the best at what they did. And I respect the hell out of them for it. Facts. I have to tell myself that a lot of times. I have to tell myself that when it comes to this whole YouTube thing. You feel me? Like, there's a lot of, and y'all know who the cats are. Y'all know who they are, and they are dope. They are dope. I don't even have to call no names, but I'm gonna. Scott, Derek, they are dope at what they do. But I don't never look at them and be like, I'm supposed to do that. I gotta do me. I done went on a whole tangent. I was talking about metronomes. I'm gonna have to edit all of this shit out. I made more work for myself. For this, I'm gonna use metronomics. You got to know who you are as yourself. That's the journey, man. It's the journey for self. So, here we go. So how do I use the metronome to my benefit? The song is 130 BPMs, right? So I'm playing it at 90. If I could play it 7 to 10 times without making a mistake, then that's probably too easy for me, right? So this is a nugget for somebody who don't know how to use a metronome. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying this is a nugget for somebody. Also, if you find value in anything on this channel and you want to leave a tip, join the membership or anything like that, if you want to leave a tip, everything, Venmo, at SONOFABASS, CashApp, at SONOFABASS. Yeah. So 90's too slow. 90's too slow. I don't want to start at 90. The goal tempo would be 130, right? Now, I know I can't do it at 130. I'm just saying. So let me do 110. What I want to see now is if I struggle at 110, right? Not struggling, right? I also want to know if I could turn my brain off a little bit at 110, right? I'm also looking at what do I have to do in my, particularly in my fretting, my plucking hand, which is my right hand. I'm going to tell y'all a dirty little secret about me. I am actually left-handed. So I should be playing this way, but I do every single thing as a right-handed person. Little dark secret about myself. So, do I have to lighten my touch? I find that I could play faster if I lighten my touch. So that looks like what I have to do, right? So I'd have put it at 120 now. 1, 2, 3. that's 120. Thank you, Clark Sims. The tones. Hey, that's the thump pedal, baby. The thump pedal is on. The thump pedal is on, Clark. The thump pedal is on. So 120 is obviously, I wouldn't say that it's easy, right? So let's bring in the time element. The time element is I would set a timer. This particular metronome that I have, I don't use it very often. The one that's on the computer, it does have a timer on it. So what I would do was I would set the timer for, say, 5 minutes. There's a really great book called The Practicing Mind by Thomas M. Sterner. He talks about doing things in very small chunks. And this is what I would do. Could I do that for 5 minutes, or could I do it for 3 minutes, right? Could I do that one motion, right? Now, again, I'm not starting off that fast, but I'm gonna bump it now to 125. So if you guys are curious, I see some people are asking about the thump pedal. So this is the pedal off. Here's the pedal on. That's with the bass up just a little bit, mid-range straight up, and then the treble is right at 12 o'clock too. I'll turn the treble up just a little bit. I'm gonna turn the treble back up. I'm gonna turn it back up to black up. Okay, so this is 125. This is 125. What would that pedal do with an active bass? I wouldn't use this pedal with an active bass. That's too much processing. Say this bass right here already has a preamp in it, right? And then you put it through another preamp with an EQ, and then you also have your EQ on the amp. It's too much. It's too much processing. I got this specifically for this bass. This bass is passive. Yeah. And also, like we were having a conversation with Bramart, is about using post and pre-EQ on your head. If you use pre-fader or pre-EQ on the head, you send that out to whoever is doing the house sound, and then they get your direct sound they get what you're hearing from the head. But yeah, I wouldn't put this on it. I wouldn't put it on the active bass at all. So anyway, here's 125. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ah, shit. So I'm struggling. Struggling at 125. So I would bring it back down to 120. And then I would say, and I could be struggling right now at 125 because I've been drinking too much gosh darn Monster, because I'm maybe thinking about it too much. The thing that's amazing to me about new school and old school is that I doubt seriously that if what's up, Cassis? I doubt seriously that Larry Graham used a metronome when he was practicing this. He felt it and he probably just did it, right? He probably just grooved with a drummer. And also, he's standing up and, he's dancing and singing all at the same time. It's a big difference between that and sitting down in a chair and making 100 takes to get it right. So, anyway, I've said before that um, I know that I can play it comfortably at 120, right? So I will go over it again. I will slow it down again in just a second when I review. So if I'm struggling at 125, this metronome, I don't know how to set it to automatically increase, but I would say I would set it to increase, like set by 2 BPMs every couple of minutes or for how many bars or whatever, right? So oh! So if I'm saying I'm cool at 122, then we'll go up to 124, right? And I know I'm getting a little bit jittery. I've been drinking this is like my third or fourth monster today. I don't even know why, and I know the things are bad for me. So what I'm doing there is I'm taking out I'm taking out stuff, right? And let me say this right now. I don't have no shame, none whatsoever, with making a mistake or clamming or anything like that on a YouTube live or on anything. You know what I mean? Because I'm human. So one thing at a time, Pretty Ricky. So somebody asked me if I could slow it down again. Let me slow it down again. I think another thing that's distracting me is I'm getting too much sound out of the amp and out of the monitor here. Let's see. So anyway, that's pretty much the whole thing. So the thing that I want to like convey to you guys is taking little bits of information, right? Slowing it down, pulling the groove out. This is like gonna be my. It's gonna be like on my tombstone. I'm not gonna have his tombstone because I'm gonna get cremated, but that's another story. But so I like pulling things apart, breaking them down into bite-sized chunks, right? And then, you're funny, Donovan. And then the metronome, taking the metronome, finding out where your breaking point is, slowing it down, and then going up. It's like like lifting weights. You don't just go out curling 30s, right? You start with 10s or 15s or whatever. But just weights, base, just like weights. You got too many people that don't want to start at the low shit and just go. Yeah, that's why they be at the gym looking foolish. So somebody asked about the jam. I think that was Cassis mentioned the jam, and I always thought after the first D to E, it could be. So Cassis, you missed my little thing in the beginning. That when I was saying that this is like I say everything. This is like sort of my interpretation of it. Um, you know, it's been many years since I dug into like really deep into that song. You know what I mean? I just know that if somebody said, "Hey, let's play POW at a jam or a gig or something like that," that you know, and nobody's gonna say, "Get the fuck off stage" because you ain't playing it right. I know I've been cussing a lot on this live. I've been cussing a little bit more than I normally do, but your boy is in a mood today. Your boy is in a mood today. Check it. Lonnie Trevino, what's up, baby boy? Bruh, after I talked to Brown Mark and Brown Mark said what he said about the way he does the Rumble, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. I'm not getting into that. I'm hoping that Brown Mark will put out those videos like he said. Cause when he said that he got the rumble going on in these fingers too, I was like, that's on some other, you know. But he said it. He was like, most people, and that's how I've been doing it all these years. I don't, anyway. Cassis, that is such a huge compliment. You don't even know. I've had people say that before, and every time I hear it, it is so amazing to me because one, it reminds me of how long I've been on YouTube, but two, doing YouTube videos and stuff like this, especially when people hate on you or whatever, it gets a little discouraging sometimes. But for some, I appreciate that love. For somebody to say that they learned from watching me and somebody like Marlo DK. I wish Thomas would come back to YouTube and do some stuff, but I think he got burnt out. I can't speak for him, but anyway, I did get the link to the book. It's on the website. So Lonnie Trevino said hair. I'm trying to remember it. Let's talk about hair. I feel like I talk about hair on every live stream. I love the way that Bobby Vega plays. I love the way that Bobby Vega plays hair. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna brag just a little bit. This is always a bragging point for me. In my years of playing with Zigaboo Modeliste, there's only one person that ever subbed that gig out when I was playing with him on the West Coast, and it was Bobby Vega. So I always like to say, that one time that Bobby Vega subbed for me. Anyway, Bobby's the cat though. Bobby just gotta, So the way I play it is, shit. I'm trying to remember it, and I played it. Wow. Okay, no more monsters. There's actually an in-depth tutorial. Not in-depth, but there's a tutorial on YouTube about hair, breaking it all down. But there's that same thing. If we break it down, DE into that thumb, right? Dead thumb. DE again. So G and a G sharp, C sharp and a D. That's the same figure again. But I'm gonna like direct people to the tutorial that I got. I do have a tutorial on, if you type in TED Talks bass hair, there's gonna be a tutorial that's gonna come up, because I did do one on this. So yeah, let's open it up for questions in regard to POW. And yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. Thanks, Lonnie. I brain farts and stuff. I'm gonna leave it open for questions. Anybody got any questions before we wrap it up? Yes, if you aren't subscribed, do like Robert Johnson says. Damping seems to be key yes. Yes, left-hand muting is important in this tune. But that motion, getting these two hands to work together. Let me see. Can you guys see my hands? How are you positioning your thumb when you slap? My thumb is typically towards the end of the fretboard and parallel. I learned how to play, how to do this with my thumb relatively parallel to the string. How do you slap the bass? How do you slap the bass? My right hand will not work, and it's slapping, but I can barely hear it. So you got to remember that when you come down, sometimes people literally take the word slap too literally, and they whack the shit out of the instrument, and then the string doesn't vibrate. What you cannot see is my thumb went downward. I didn't push it downward just by gravity. It went down, and it's now resting on the A string, right? But the string has to vibrate. That's why you have a problem. That's one of the reasons why you may have a problem with getting a sound out of there. Okay? You gotta let the string vibrate. You want to stop it? You know, if you touch the string, now that's gonna give me a harmonic. But I'm not grabbing the neck. I'm just, you know, somebody else come with one. Come with one. We're talking about POW in particular, or slap bass in particular. I think slap bass is starting to get a real bad rap, or thumping and plucking or whatever is starting to get a bad rap. You know, no, you're not gonna go do a gig and slap the whole time, and you know, it's just like fills. I mean, if you you know, I played CCM for a long time, and you'll see like some of these videos or something. Well, if you do too many fills, you know, people will hate you. It's bullshit. If you do fills and you don't land on the one, if you try to show out and you don't hit the right chord, people will be mad at you. If you slap and you butcher in the song, people will be mad at you. But if you do it in the right spot, nobody's gonna be mad at you. Facts. Donovan, we'll have to yes, I do have a tutorial on Glide by Pleasure that's on the website here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. All you gotta do is search TED Talk Bass Pleasure by Glide or whatever, some iteration of that. But there is a tutorial on that song here. Donovan, the key to walking bass lines. I don't know if there's one key to walking bass lines. A key to walking bass lines is absolutely. Thank you for asking. And if you guys want to leave a super chat, leave a super chat. If you want to leave a tip, leave a tip. Venmo at SONOFABASS. CashApp at SONOFABASS. I got no gigs anyway. But I'm not begging, and I'm not asking for handouts. If you find value in what I'm doing and you want to leave a tip, I encourage it and I appreciate it. Knowing your chord tones, is key. Is a key to, you know, knowing chord tones. Understanding how this dot connects to this dot, connects to this dot, connects to this dot, connects to this dot, connects to this dot. Yeah. Lonnie, I hear you, man. Um, I I don't know that I ever got pigeonholed necessarily when it came to gigs. Um, out in the Bay, just my experience out there was, you know, did you know songs? How do you send me cash? You can't send me cash. You can send me. Venmo at Son of a Bass, SONOFABAS. You can PayPal using paypal.me/Ted Gould. You can Cash App at Son of a Bass, SONOFABASS. I wish you could send me cash. But I appreciate the offer. So Lonnie, I was saying that uh, my experience has been, do you know tunes? Can you learn tunes? You know, I think what kept some cats from getting gigs, what kept me from getting gigs at a certain point or another was, you know, do you know tunes or not? Do you know songs or not? Like, can you do the gig? If you are getting called to do a corporate gig or something like that, do you know all the standard corporate band stuff and all that? So I played so much of that stuff that once I was able to play that confidently, then it was really no problem getting a gig. Uh, so yeah, but being able to slap or whatever, never, it's just a tool, it's just a technique. And I'm not jumping on you or anything like that. I'm just saying, uh, because if all I could do is play finger style, right? And I walk into a gig. That's cool, but I guarantee you that that's going to get more excitement from the drummer, the singer, and every damn body on the dance floor than the other thing, right? When put appropriately, right? If cause so slap bass then got a bad rap, but people that don't know how to do it and all they could do is finger style, hey, it's like too much of one thing and not enough of the other is never really, a good thing altogether. I mean, that's just me. Do I have endurance exercises for slap? Like I was saying earlier, is like, you know, um, Anthony Wellington has got a really dope thing on the Gruv workshop. Um, slap paradiddles. He calls them paradiddles. He's got a really good curriculum that I'm not going to touch. That's his curriculum. But anything, with anything, let's say, with the metronome, I think it's about time, and I mean like actual time. So whenever I use a metronome, I don't just put the metronome on. I always use a timer with the metronome. So if I'm, let me think of something that's not paradiddle. Let's just say I'm using that rhythm. Whenever I think about something and I lose, I want to say something. I think that's when I start messing up. So I'm just taking that rhythm. So I'll take something like, like a rhythm like that or whatever, and just like put the timer on it or whatever. I start tripping when I'm trying to, like, I think of something and I want to talk to you and I say something and I fuck up. Um, I've been cussing a lot on this live stream. I do not normally cuss this much on live streams. In real life, I do, but it's not that I'm proud of. But it's just real talk. I struggle with fluidity when doing octaves, especially on the A and G strings. What do you mean by fluidity? What are you calling fluidity? Get a little deeper with that for me. If you're talking about where your thumb is being placed, right? It gets sloppy. From the A to G strings, man, practice octaves. If you just do octaves like this, what I would love for you to do is take a video of yourself with your phone and record a short example and email it to me. Send it to me because I'd love to see. I think the best thing for slap is real vocabulary, real songs, and dissecting them and turning them into exercises. Like what's that song, Love Games, Mr. Pink, if I remember. Okay, that's a real song, right? So if you take so I'm getting feedback. It's distracting as a feedback. The speaker's right here, and it's feeding back. Is distracting me. Thank you, Angelo. You take real vocabulary. And you start like breaking that down and using those as exercises. Sheldon, I did that like last week, bro. I did Are You Single like last week. Last week. You gotta go watch the replay, homie. You gotta go watch it. You trying to get me to go to the past, man. Trying to get me to go to the past. Let's see. No, you good, bro. You good. You good. You good. You good. So the next, I think I'm gonna do this love games, level 42 later though. But I'm just using that as an example of what one of the things you could do. You could take and make it an exercise. They could be too low. Hey, like on my mic low, the strings used to be too low. I remember Daryl Anders from MXR came to one of my gigs in Oakland. He sat in, and they were too low. The string has to vibrate. Even if the strings are low, they gotta vibrate, right? So here's shit. I don't know if you can see this, man. This is the action on my strings on this bass. Can you see? Can you see? Let's see if I turn it this way. I mean, it's pretty low. It's pretty low, but it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not insane. This one is set up a little bit different. little bit higher on this one. Like the drag about. So I'll turn this off here. I can't hear anything. What's the deal? Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, I like my action low. I like it low, but not like stupidly low. Because you're gonna fret out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fret out. It's gonna rattle. It's not gonna be cool. Woo! This bad boy is dead. This is dead. Oh my god, so dead. But I kind of like it though. Wow. Whoa, she is dead. This bass needs some love, man. This bass needs some love. This po thing. This was my Bourbon Street. This was my Bourbon Street gig, man. Does Dunlop make a flat one string? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. This bass is probably so dead too because it's on the wall. The strings are getting dusty and all that. But yeah. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little while. I'll try to go live again on Wednesday. TKO. And Teddy Pendergrass? Teddy Pendergrass? I'm going to have to do a tutorial on that. I can't give you everything on the live stream. God. What is that face? Let's see. What is the rule to adjusting them? Yeah, it's gotta be. I don't know. I don't know about rules. I just think you gotta. Woo! Hey guys, always a pleasure. Hey, thank you. I'll do a tutorial on Love TKO. I'm getting ashamed of myself that every time somebody asks about a song, I know how to play it. Not ashamed, maybe proud. Pat yourself on the back, God damn it. I'm just kidding. Oh, I gotta go meditate or like woosah something or go hit the ropes or something to get my mood back today. I really appreciate all you guys checking in, man. If you haven't if you have not subscribed to the channel, go on and do that and consider becoming a member as well. I really, really, seriously appreciate you cats. And y'all be easy, man. I'll see y'all on the next one. Okay. Peace. 2 fingers.